So first of all, thank you for accepting to be part of this panel. We have been hearing a lot of good insights in terms of how do you scale your business, how do you make an idea, how do you protect your idea through all the protection system that we have in place. Now, once you have an idea, I think what really makes that idea useful or ready for the market is the technology, right? And that is the area that we are going to talk about. So there are three broad themes that come up to the mind immediately when you start talking about tech, right? The first is around how do you really create a scalable architecture, and to create a scalable architecture, how do you really re-architect your solution? The second area is around security and risk management, and we had great insights from a national security officer as well on if you were to secure your infrastructure end to end or your solution end to end, what are the options do you have? And the third theme that we were going to talk about is around cost optimization and spend management. And we had Pradeep talk about that in some bits and pieces as well. So what I'm going to do is in each of these three themes, I'm going to ask a question, and then it'll be awesome to get your insights as startup founders, as CEOs and CTOs on how you thought about this challenge and what are the top three things that came to your mind when you wanted to address this area. Okay, so the question is like this. For the first theme, the question is whether your startup was born in the cloud or you inherited an existing architecture. When designing for scaling, what are the factors you considered in addition to scaling up users? So scaling up users is given, right? Users or customers. But what are the other things beyond scaling users that you thought about? And was there a forum or a support system that helped you, or were you on your own? So getting insights on these as startup founders and CTOs, I think will be very beneficial, not just for Microsoft to understand what's the stopgap and how we can fill that, but even for other startup founders on the forum to follow those and get your guidance. So why don't we start with you, Ravi? If you can start, and then let's move around the room.
Yeah, thanks, Parag, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everybody on the call. This is Ravi, CTO Insurance Samadhan. Parag, you have touched upon a very, very important topic. The thing is, scalability is something people keep talking day in, day out right now. Because every startup wants to become a unicorn. There is so much going around that there are so much opportunity available. We live in a country where opportunities are endless. If you start any kind of a business, you see the number of users that are there, they will go into millions and billions.
Absolutely.
So to start with the first question, whether we were born in cloud or inherited something. So we were born in cloud from day one. Having said that, this came from my past experiences of working with companies which had the benefits of cloud, and I, being a recipient of those benefits, being a tech architect, was very clear from day one that my architecture will be on cloud from day one. Second thing is, with these services like Microsoft are providing to startups, and then there are a couple of other service providers also, it has become very easy for you to start from day one on cloud. The benefits that you get from cloud is the scalability part. For example, whenever you're going to the investors, whenever you're going to other people, you are telling, all you are talking is numbers, that there are so many users that are there for
Right.
my product that I am making. There are so many billion-dollar market out there which I am going to capture. So when you are talking about these numbers, somewhere deep down you know that if these users come to your platform, then you should be ready to scale. That's why it is imperative for you that from day one, if possible, you should start in cloud. Second thing is, it also depends upon the customer base that you have.
True.
You have to be very, very methodical about how to approach your customer. Now every customer, with the advent of technology, has got used to a basic technology understanding of every product that they are using. Now every product that is out there in the market will be compared with the Facebooks and Twitters and TikToks of the world. So the user experience has to be top class from day one. So at any point of time, you cannot say that I am just starting with my product and therefore the user experience is not up to that level.
Hmm.
That is not acceptable right now. In today's
True.
day and age, people will always compare you with the top products that are out there in the market. Second thing is, of course, there will be re-architecturing that will happen, because the problem statement that you start from day one is eventually going to be expanding. because more and more user input will come in, more and more data will come in, and then you will realize that what you started with was just the tip of the iceberg, and now what you are dealing with is a completely different set of a problem. But still, if you have got your basics right in place, for example, if you start your company right now, you have all the options to go on cloud from day one, very easy. You have all the payment gateway available to start from day one, so that even if your product is processing n number of payments tomorrow, you are ready with your infrastructure, because you have already tied up with a payment gateway. Then the email services, the security services, the monitoring services, all are available as a service to you. It is just that you need to effectively know about them and use them and amalgamate them into a system which then solves the problem that you are getting out to solve.
Brilliant, Ravi. I think you touched upon so many things right now, right? And I'm amazed when I was looking at your companies. We have so much of diversity right now, right in front of me. Like you are there looking after the insurance frauds. We have Manoj, which has created a fantastic platform which integrates into the hoteliers and creates a very advanced booking system.
So you have to think from that perspective, that the different level of access that they have to the data, they should be allowed to access only a limited amount of data and with limited privileges. Can they download some data? Can they edit some data? Similarly, with your similarly, what are the data from the customer side that you are storing? Last week there was a ruling from government of India that even the payment gateway companies cannot store credit card or the debit card number on this thing. So we were very sure from the day one that we do not want to do this, because we do not want to get into that kind of a hassle whereby it will be difficult for us to maintain it tomorrow. As far as being on cloud is concerned, then it helps immensely from the security point of view, because being on cloud, it gives a basic layer of security to your data by default. So now I know for a fact that my data, if it is going to be accessed by someone, there are at least 2 layers of security that have already implemented by being on cloud only. Now
Right.
these are so small things like these. For example, the volume of data that one person is uploading, how much of data. So logging is also very important when you TV. Which user
Correct.
is trying to do which activity on your system? Is he allowed to do that activity? Is he allowed to upload that data? Is he allowed to download that
So
data?
so you have the right level of audit logs for that. So the question
Absolutely
here is,
everything.
Ravi,
Hmm.
when do you do your screenings, if you do at all, and what
Hmm.
part of the cycle? That is,
So
I think, very crucial for all of us startup founders on the call to understand. And most importantly, when you do your screenings, how do you plan on mitigating this?
So Parag, good question. So we already have tools in place which monitor every single API call that comes onto the system. So we already have a tool like New Relic in place, which monitors every single bit of data that is being passed from the system and to the system. So for every deployment cycle that we do, we naturally get logs of system which has started coming into the of the data that has started coming into the system. Now when you have a monitoring in place, you exactly know which part of the system has started behaving fishy. There
Hmm.
are alarms that you can set for your system. For example, if your one part, or like if your one server is experiencing CPU shortage, then you exactly get to know about that. This is the point where my system is facing a difficulty, and then you start going deep into the monitoring tool data that is being provided to you, and then you figure out that this is the part that I need to plug and move ahead.
Um, Correct. So my apologies. I know this could be a very long all-day discussion, and just in interest of time, we're just going to keep moving on. So the most important aspect, right? We have the business figured out, we have the tech figured out on what you need to secure, how you need to define a microservices architecture. The most important question that every startup founder has, and I think that will be a great insight from all three of you, is how do you optimize your cloud spend, right? Cloud optimization spend management is on the top of your mind, especially for startups, because you're starting off, whether you're funded or not. You have to be really careful on how you spend, what cloud you spend on, what are the things or services that you're going to use. So the question is, these are tough times, and we need and there's a need that we need to move faster but smarter. So what are the top two or three things on your mind when it comes to cloud and infra spend?
So, to start with, Parag, it is a very tricky situation to be in because this is something which will always be a question. Maybe 10 years down the line, when you will be conducting another round of talks, you will still be talking about speed versus cost kind of a thing. So it will always be there. But going into this, cost is something that is directly correlation of how the quality of code and how the quality of architecture you have built. So people with experience in prior architecture and prior optimization of services that they have created will always put in that extra bit that will help you in conserve the cost. Now the thing is, you do not need to have everything on cloud. That is a decision that you have to take. Only the services that are operational for the customer, that are an essential, maybe something. If there is I'm just talking in case if there is a cost constraint that your startup is facing.
Mm.
Now what you can do is, if there is a part of the software that only your internal team is using, maybe you can have a different kind of an arrangement for that thing and be as secure as your cloud architecture. Second thing is caching and more caching. You do not need to have everything in your database. Start using caching for this thing, so that even if your database is going overboard, you are not hitting it for every single thing. Third thing is, you have to keep in mind that a slow API is worse than a dead API. A user might forgive you for an API which is not working, but a user will never forgive you for a slow API. So
Correct.
so that thing you will have to, because in that thing what you have to do is, even if your cost goes for a 10-20% higher, but your speed and user experience is something that you cannot negotiate upon.
Correct. That's a
These are
very
the
good
things.
point, Ravi. Those are great points, and I think amazing learnings that others can pick up on.